I definitely have someone super special to shout out real fast. Jalen Petrucci locked in Success Starter officially today. Guys, she fought so hard this last month. Like, talk about in this business when you are up here, it likes to bring you way down here just to see if you can build yourself way back up here. That's how it goes sometimes, especially when you're, when you're working hard and you set big goals, there's going to be things that happen that get in your way. And like just the way you respond to that adversity is everything. So I'm so proud of you, girl. Amazing, amazing job. Does anybody else have anyone that they want to shout out?
I do. Kimmy, I think she's on here. She is at SC4, and I know she's fighting for Success Club. Girl, you were at Summit. You kicked butt. I know you're going to finish the month strong because the month is not over, y'all. The month's not over.
No.
And I want to shout out Maggie because that girl is freaking on fire. How many people has she helped? 22 plus
35?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
50?
y'all,
I don't know.
she has I think she's almost a toddler. I don't know. I never would know what to call 8 months. I don't remember how old she is. But if she has a little babe and she can do it, everybody can help 3 people.
Totally. Seriously, guys, Maggie and I talk very closely all the time, and she has really flipped a switch post-Summit, and that's the power of Summit. So remember that for next year as well, that y'all better be there. Okay, does anybody else have anyone they want to shout out? And we'll get started here. I'm really excited because I made slides, and if you guys know me, I'm not a slides person. I'm not an organized person. Really, truly, but I am super excited about this topic, and I've kind of had some things like fall into my heart in the last day or so that I definitely wanted to share with you guys. I'm going to touch on Atomic Habits, this book by, I think it's James Clear. So just keep that in the forefront because you might want to go get that on Amazon like right after this. Okay, so does anybody else have anyone that they want to shout out while I'm sharing my screen and we get started? Okay, well, I just want to shout all of you out for being on here because it's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday on July 31st. I'm sure there's 1,000 other things that you really probably could be doing, but making these calls a priority, whether this is your first call or 550th call, I don't even know, like it says a lot about the business that you're going to build. I have been coaching for 4 years now, and I still get excited about these calls. Like I still get on here ready to learn. I'm ready to see the faces that I'm in the trenches with like weekly. So just know that like we're glad you're here. We're thankful that you're here, but pat yourself on the back because we're not your boss. You run your own business. So the fact that you're showing up for yourself in your business, that says a lot about you. Okay, so Morning Meltdown is staying on sale in August. I'm going to dive in really quick to like what's happening in August, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this last day of the month 5. So Morning Meltdown is going to stay $20 off. I kind of thought they were going to do that, but that's really great. So that means that everyone should hit Success Club in the first like 5 days of August because we have all these follow-ups, all these invites that we did in July, and we just turn around and get them enrolled in August with this amazing special. If you achieve Success Club in August, you get a Jericho bobblehead. Super cool, super also sort of weird, but they're really fun, guys. We have a Joel one out in our garage, and Darren and I play with it all the time. You're also, this is to get your award. What's the 6-month award? I think it's the backpack, right? So the backpack, you're probably eligible for that. The t-shirt, if you hit 12 months in a row in Success Club, guys, new carry-on luggage, like the hardback kind. So keep that in mind that every single month you're changing lives, you're going to be recognized with something. Beachbody Performance Recover is $10 off. Morning Meltdown, the next Super Trainer launch group ends, and then another one kicks off. 10% off the 3-day refresh kit. So this is a great thing to do. I actually just had a girl who got Morning Meltdown. She wanted to add on the 3-day refresh kit. So keep in mind, like if these people want to do this long 100 workouts with you, a really great way for them to kind of like, get that summer blow. I mean, July was insane for me. I traveled literally every week. So I'm really feeling that this would have actually been a good time for me to do a 3-day refresh. So keep in mind, like coming off like summer months like that is a good time for people to do the 3-day refresh. And even your current, don't ever forget about your current customers, your current discount coaches. It's a great way to get them, active. If you're pushing for a rank, they can buy a kit and it's 10% off on top of their 25% off if they're discount coaches. And I'm really excited for this date. August 26th, Morning Meltdown 100 apparel launches on teambeachbody.com. Guys, we're now getting volume from that. We're now getting commission from that. So I don't know how many of you guys see IG models all over Instagram. I'm basically a spokesperson for TJ Maxx. So I'm like, at least this way we can wear and share Team Beachbody and actually see the benefit of that. So there's so many ways that we can maximize on that. So keep that in mind, that that's real. We're kind of shifting in a sense to health, beauty, and fitness. I'm not going to say fashion, but health, beauty, and fitness, because now we have the collagen, we have the apparel line. There's just so much opportunity than just Shakeology or just fitness. So keep that in mind. And your promo codes are going to expire at midnight. So I'm not going to talk about this too long, but I just want to remind you guys that the day is not over. And if you're sitting there right now with any promo codes in your inbox, I know that you can find someone who will utilize it and maximize on it. And this is actually the perfect way to go find people, because you're in a time crunch. It's urgent. You can go to them and let them know that you did not want this promo code to go to waste. I actually was messaging and following up with people on Sunday night. I was like, listen, I'm actually stressed out that you might miss out on going on this journey with us, because we've talked about it. It's going to be insane. I'm so stoked for what's already happening. And I'm just worried that you're going to have FOMO and wish you'd done it. And that's just the honest truth. I'm like, listen, I'm worried about you wishing you would have started. So please use this $10 promo code. I have this $10 promo code off. It's yours. It's going to expire in 3 hours. And I just wanted to make sure it went to somebody who really needed it or really deserved it. And just speak like that with your heart. That's all we want you to do, is follow up and let people know you're thinking of them and let them know they have this option. If they take it, that's their choice. But please don't wake up tomorrow and be like, man, I should have messaged Sarah. She was interested mid-July and I should have followed up. Or I should have went back to my post from yesterday when I talked about my workout, and I should have invited Tina and Sally. Just do it, especially if you have any left over, okay? And if they say no, they're probably going to sign up in August. All right. So I wanted to do this call because I was talking to the girls and I was like, you know what? I just love social media. I love what we get to do with it. I'm by no means I don't want you guys to think I'm an expert. There's so many amazing trainings on YouTube. So please become a student. I love Ashley Molstad, the way she talks about being a brand, not a business. I love Ashley Smith. She did an amazing training. The trainings from Summit were so good. But I feel in a sense, as a team, we kind of need to come together at the beginning of the months and really look at what's coming and how we can best prepare for it, because it's going to take some pressure off of you to just make this part of your habits. Not, oh, I got to post on social media, or, oh, I got to get a post out for Success Club. Okay, so I want to take that mindset out of it. And I'm going to start with this quote from Atomic Habits, because I was reading this book yesterday by the pool. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what happens to so many coaches. They think about the goal in their business and all they think about is the goal. So I want to rewind to thinking about your health and fitness journey for a second. How many of you guys struggled for so long until you found Beachbody because all you were trying to do was lose those 10 pounds? And you literally did everything that you could think of. Guys, I would cut carbs. I would cut sugar. I would go to the gym for 2 hours a day for 2 weeks. I made bets with my friends. I did whatever it took to get that 10 pounds off. Once it was off, it came right back on, because I never committed to the systems that I needed to see the progress. So how many times do you see a new month and you're like, I got to help 3 people. I need to find 3 people. And then you go invite people and you're stressed that those people aren't going to say yes, because all you're focused on is the goal instead of being focused on the systems that create the goal, that make the goal happen. And social media is a huge part of that. And then what starts to happen is setting goals in our business kind of become this like, they're like taxing in a sense, because, you know, you set this goal and all you're thinking about is the goal. But if you're not focusing on the things that you have to do every single day to get there, then it's almost impossible to make it happen consistently. And then a new month starts and it's the same cycle over and over and over again. Who is like relating to because when I was reading this, I was like, oh my gosh, that was me like the first year of my business. Like it's like the day one of a new month would hit and I'm just like, okay, like I have this goal for Success Club. Like I know it's important. And I never missed it necessarily, but all I was focusing on was just trying to get those 10 pounds off and then trying to get those 10 pounds off again. And instead, I wasn't really looking at it from, okay, I need to commit to working out for 30 minutes a day. I need to commit to eating less processed foods and more whole foods. I need to commit to being consistent rather than commit to seeing the result. Are you guys following me? That is how we have to look at our social media. Our system and our business are the vital behaviors. I no longer wake up on the first of the month and think, oh my gosh, I have to help 3 people. How am I going to do that? Where am I going to do that? I got to find 3 people. I wake up on the first of the month and I go, awesome. I'm going to throw out some baller content. I cannot wait to see who I connect with this month. Like, I'm so excited. Who am I going to find on Instagram? Like, I get my like best friend eyes like wide open and I'm like, who's out there for me to help? And because I know I'm committed to the systems and I'm not just like focusing on the goal. So I want you guys to remember this quote when you think about that, because I can sit on the sidelines all day long. I can stare at my coach office all day long at that number and dwell on it and dwell on it and dwell on it. I can stare at my sponsorship drill down. How many of you guys have set these big audacious goals? I set the goal to be elite like 7 years in a row, I think. And it wasn't until this year that I understand the systems that have to be in place of inviting to the business every day, talking to my coaches every day, growing as a leader every day. You know, those are the systems that create the results that we desire. So when it comes to your social media, guys, it's part of a habit, a part of the system that's going to create that result. And you no longer have to stress over the result if you just are consistent with the systems. Am I making sense? Is this clicking? Because it clicked for me so hard. We don't want, what we don't want in this business is for you guys to be stressed out about those goals that we set, because those are just there for direction. What we want is for you to be in love with the journey. And that's a huge part, and social media is a huge part of it. Okay, so I want you to think in terms of, again, like I said, I was totally that person that was like, crap, it's the 15th of the month. Like, I haven't helped anybody. Okay, I need to throw a post out and do a giveaway. And just, I was like, but I was putting this like stressed energy out there. And I almost didn't, this was from Bonnie Engel. She did this training at Summit for the 2-star and above leaders. If you guys can find that on YouTube, please do that. But I'm just going to make this reference. Like, when you are looking at your goals and you're only focused on the goal, then you start to put out this stress rather than being focused on adding the value and creating a tribe and creating a following and putting your story out there. When all you're worried about is putting out a post to see something in return, that's going to breed scarcity. That's going to breed negativity. Like, if I when we throw posts out there like that, that kind of like transfers that we're stressed in this business. And that's not really going to make people excited to join us, right? But when you're calm, cool, and collected and just sharing on social media because you enjoy it, because you love it, because you get to provide value and inspire people and make people laugh, that is what I'm attracted to, right? Like, that's what I want to be a part of. So keep that in mind. Like, the energy you put out, you're going to get back. So think about when you're on the phone with someone and you can always tell when that person's smiling. Isn't it like the weirdest thing? Like, you can't see them. This is before FaceTime. You're on the phone and you know whether they're smiling or not, because it's a legit transfer of energy. So here are like the actual things that go off in people's brains that they connect with you over. Like, Natalie just made an amazing post today, and I texted her and I was like, dude, oh my God, like my heart went just to like straight mush over that post. Like, it was just, I just felt it. And she's like, dude, oxytocin and endorphins. I'm like, all the things. So that's what you want. And will that post necessarily, will someone message her from that post and go, hey, I want to join your challenge group? No, that's not what's going to happen from that post. But someone's going to read that post and relate about marrying their high school sweetheart, or relate over being, feeling those feelings of love, or just message her and be like, dude, my heart is literally melted inside of my body. So know that what you feel, they feel, and keep that in mind. And that is a big reason why you have to keep your mindset and your energy and all of your endorphins and happy things in check. That doesn't mean you don't show up when days are hard, but that means when you have hard days, you find a way to spin it to win it. I think Ashley Molstead says that. Spin it to win it, okay? Everybody's got bad days. Like, I didn't know how to show up on my social media back in February when I was, when my grandpa was sick and I was home for a week taking care of him. And I was like, how am I going to, I can't just not be there for 2 weeks, because it had already been a week where I wasn't posting. And I was like, how am I going to do this? And so there's always, even in literally your darkest hours, you can find something that's going to inspire people. And whether, it inspires them in a way that, regardless of, I guess, how it inspires them, it's going to show them that they can find joy in their hardest moments, if that makes sense. Even if it doesn't directly give them some kind of inspiration, if they can't relate to you in that specific dark moment, when you share your story, you show others that they have permission to share their own and be okay in their own hard. Okay. So at Summit, this is how real this is. Okay, guys, we're sitting in this room and Bonnie Engel starts telling us about her, really just insane and mind-blowing journey to getting pregnant. And she had these like different colored papers under the seats, and she starts talking about it. And then she pulls out, they were blue and pink, and she pulls out the papers and she goes, what if I told you guys right now that the people holding up the pink, or was it pink, Danielle? It was pink. No, it was blue. What if I told you that the people holding up blue right now are part of our gender reveal? We're having a boy. I was like, what? I mean, we were freaking out. But that's the kind of energy that we want to give people on our social media. Like, I don't know Bonnie Engel. Like, we're not friends. We've never talked. I think she's amazing, and I totally love what she's done in her business. But if I was just a person on her feed following her that day, I would have felt just as connected to her gender reveal, because I knew how hard it took her to get there. I knew what she went through to get there. And I felt special to be a part of that moment. That's what we want to make our followers feel like. We want them to feel like they're special because they're a part of our life with us. They're going on this journey like with us. They're watching us go through whatever we're going through, and they're part of that. They're in our circle. It's about connecting, and that's the main thing. And that's what we have to remember, because I totally used to fall into the trap of, like, literally, okay, if I wanted to hit Success Club, I thought every single post I put out had to be about my workout. I thought every single post I put out had to be a transformation story. And I thought every single post had to have a call to action. But that's not necessarily the case. You guys are way more than Beachbody. You are way more than health and fitness. And probably 90% of the time, you're going to connect with your followers first over something that isn't even related to health and fitness. Okay, so think about that. I want you to think about your social media and people coming onto your page like they're coming there to be your friend, because that's ultimately what you want. When I was saying you want that quality over quantity, and you want to go into someone's inbox and invite them and them feel like they're already friends with you, that's not only going to, help you reach your goals, but that's going to really truly help you build a tribe. Okay. So cliche, but so true. You don't want one and done customers. You want people that already feel connected with you when they sign up, that already feel connected with you before you even enter their inbox. And that's going to go like a long way. Is this training going to teach you how to wake up tomorrow and have 700 new messages in your inbox waiting for people waiting to join you. No, this training is going to teach you how to long-term really see a shift in the people that you're attracting and the business that you're building. So think about like what makes you you, okay? Because a lot of, like I said with Natalie, somebody's going to connect with her maybe about that post she said today. Someone might, if I ever posted something about what it's like to be in the stepmom role, that's a very like specific type of thing. And I can find people that maybe like that picture and go talk to them and say, girl, like, I'm so glad that we connected. Like, I'm so thankful that I found another person that like relates to me. Like, could you relate to what I said? Okay, maybe you're a nurse and you talked about your long hours and how you're exhausted to work out. And people who like that picture, you don't have to go say, girl, do you want to join me? Be like, girl, I see that you get it. Like, it's hard, right? Like, I don't want to work out knowing I got a 12-hour day ahead of me. But doesn't it feel good to like put our health first? So think about things like that. One of my coaches, she's an interior designer. You could put stuff about like your career like that or your hobbies, and then go reach out to people that like those pictures or see those posts or see those stories and say, thank you so much for the love on that picture, that design from that room. I'm so in love with it. Did anything stick out to you? Or what's your design like? Or what's your style like? So there's always ways to like ask a question and connect with people first through that kind of stuff, which is more so most of the time going to lead into an invite. So what I'll do to kind of like transition that is I'll be like, hey, since we're chatting, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be hosting this online health and wellness boot camp, support group, or whatever you want to call it. And I have a couple spots. So I just wanted to make sure I offered one to you because I felt like we kind of became Insta BFFs and I didn't want you to miss out just in case you were thinking about it. So that's how you would just shift it. Like, hey, I have this thing. I'm just letting you know since I have you. Yeah or nay. And guys, if they say no, like, who cares? Okay. Like, they're going to keep following you and they're going to eventually join you. That's just the way it goes. And everyone will back me on that. So remember that you're more than just your health and fitness. And when I say at the end of this, we're going to talk about how to map out your month. When I say that your goal is to hit Success Club this week, that does not mean that every single post you put out has to talk about a workout and has to talk about MN100 and has to talk about your eating plan. Okay. So think about this example when you're thinking about that connecting. If you're having a dinner party, I think Ashley Molstead used this at Summit too. If you're having a dinner party, and so a challenge group, that's what we're mirroring this with. And you're talking about it on your social media and your stories even. Guys, we invite to that every day in our stories, right? I'm not like, if Danielle posts on her social media, like, hey guys, like I'm having this dinner party on Friday night. Like I'm super pumped. Like bring your own wine, comment if you can come. Like I can't wait it's going to be so much fun. I am definitely not going to be like, if I don't know her that well, I'm not going to be like, I want to come. Can I go? Because that would just feel awkward, right? Like when have you ever invited yourself to a party? Like actually invited yourself besides like your best friend and your family. So I know that is how people look at us when we're inviting publicly to our groups on our social media. So please don't put posts out with call to actions expecting to get 50 messages in your inbox. That is just you letting them know there is an invitation. So when you take it to the inbox, you can be like, hey girl, I noticed that you saw my picture or my post about the group that I'm hosting. I want to make sure I sent you an invite just so you know that I have spots open and I'm definitely thinking about you. Is that something that you're interested in? So please do not assume that, especially when it comes to something as vulnerable as our health and fitness and weight loss and mindset and confidence, that people are just going to be beating down your door and waving their flags around to join you. Connect with them first so they want to come to your party. So they see you as somebody that they're friends with. So they see you as somebody that they're excited to see on their social media every day. And here's how we would kind of break those stories down. So these are some good questions to ask yourself. So for example, say you do have a week coming up where you're like, okay, I'm going to talk about coaching or I'm going to talk about my wellness journey. These are a couple things that you can ask yourself to help you break that down. It's really important to break your story into those different pieces because a lot of times and I'm guilty of this too, and Maggie will like check me on this sometimes because we'll exchange posts. I recommend that as well. If you have a friend in the business, send over your posts sometimes. Be like, would you word this different? Or am I all over the place here? Or, like, did this come to a cohesive like understanding? It's great to have that kind of feedback and just bounce ideas off of one another. So these are things that you could put in one post, or you could break them into like 4 different posts. So a lot of times we're like, I just don't know, like I don't want to keep telling my story. Well, who I was before coaching could be like 16 different things. It could be I was that one person, but it could be that I wasn't confident and I didn't believe in myself to like really do anything that I really wanted to do. That's one post in itself. My wellness, my mindset, everything. I didn't have the freedom with my time. I didn't have community. Those are all different posts, all in one question. So what I challenge you guys to do right now, literally, as we're looking at this slide, jot some things down really fast. Like if something's coming to your mind, that's how you create content. You take out a note section of your phone, you jot it down really quick, you know it's there, you come back to it. But I can't tell you how many times during the day I'll have like a thought, I'll just be like randomly sitting around like thinking about, or I'm doing my workout and I'm like, man, it's really, I would have never been able to do this 4 years ago. And write that down, like how you're feeling in that moment, and go back to that. So these are some good questions to ask yourself when it's maybe Sunday night or Monday night and you're like, all right, this is what I'm focusing on this week in my posts. And I want to think about how I'm going to break these stories down. But you got to tell the story. Don't say what happened. All right. So this was like a huge eye opener for me, because it's like, yeah, I'm telling you, right? Like I am telling you that I wasn't confident, or that I hated not being in control of my hours, or we're telling people like crushing my own 100 journey, like loving it, like getting my workout in today. But what does that like really mean? What's the story behind that? So the difference between what's happening or what happened and telling, like putting someone in a moment. It's as simple as, I hated not being in control of my hours and having freedom with my time, to it was Thanksgiving 2016. And that was the first holiday I'd ever spent away from my family. And I can't read that part. All because I had to choose which holiday I'd travel for and I had to work. Do you guys see the difference? Like you're literally in that moment with that person. I wasn't confident. I know we say that all the time with the intention to really show people like I wasn't confident, but why? Like what did that look like for you? Like me not feeling confident might not look the same as a new mom not feeling confident. Like me not feeling confident in business might not look the same for Danielle. So remember that like you have to be specific about what those emotions are for you, because it's all about how you make people feel. Okay. Like I was actually kind of scanning over my recent challengers a little while ago. And I was like, there are some new moms in there, but a lot of these girls, like really, I feel like we were right there with something in our story. And I know that's because they know my story. They don't just know that I wasn't confident once, or I, didn't like not having freedom with my time. So another way to do that, again, like the MM100, I completed workout 50 today and it was great. But what does that really feel like to you? I quit on myself over and over, and all I kept seeing when I looked in the mirror was that. To say I'm halfway there today helps me see I'm not a quitter anymore. So break those pieces. Like when you go to make a post, because it'll take probably a second to break yourself of that. When you go to make a post, write out what you want to say, take a step back and ask yourself, am I telling them what happened or how I feel, or am I telling them a story about what happened and how I feel? Because that's what's going to connect people to you on social media. And what are you telling yourself? This is a big one, because I hear this all the time, and I was guilty of it. Please raise your hand. I can see like 5 of you right now. So raise your hand if you've ever uttered the words, I'm just not that good at posting. I'm not good at editing. I don't know what to post. Guys, if you say those words to yourself, that's all you're going to keep feeling. That's all that you're going to keep seeing. And I know I was so scared to be real and to do this whole social media thing. So maybe there's like a brand new coach on here that's like, I literally have never even said one vulnerable thing on my social media. This is terrifying to me. Well, congratulations, because every single one of us is always sharing something new that's vulnerable, because we're all always growing. We're all always growing through something new and hard. So that never really goes away. But you know what I told myself? I was like, you know what? If I'm scared of this, I'm going to get good at it. And I'm going to be somebody that people want to watch, want to follow, want to see, want to read. And I'm not saying that I have, 5,000 likes on pictures. That's not what I mean. I mean that I want people to enjoy following me. I want people to enjoy my content. And even if I have a call to action at the end, even if they don't care about joining me, I want them to take something away from my post. So you have to change the narrative in your head, or you're just going to continue to struggle with your social media and then in turn struggle in your business. And that doesn't mean that social media is everything, because it's not. Like I said, you're not going to get off this call and make these changes and just automatically start hitting Success Club 500. But when you do these steps, it gets a lot easier to connect with new people. How many of you guys struggle with social media but also struggle to connect to new people? It all coincides. How many of you feel like you never have anyone to invite because you're also not consistent in posting? How many of you guys feel like you never have follow-ups, and you're also not consistent in posting, right? It all coincides. So it's not that this is going to blow up your business, but you're going to have a lot more fun doing the vital behaviors when you enjoy doing this and you stop looking at it and telling yourself these things. You can choose a new identity and have confidence in your story, because it matters. And whether you think that Sally is going to relate to you specifically or not, another girl that's secure in who she is in this world, telling that story, owning that story, being 100% authentic is more important than her not telling it, whether Sally relates to it or not, because that shows Sally that she could, I could. She's brave, I can be brave. So your story matters with just that in itself. All right, so now we're going to plan all that out, right? When you look at your month ahead of you, okay, look at it, see what's happening. You got to know your challenge group start date. You got to know when's my team hosting sneak peeks. You got to know, like last month, there was that open house. So that would have been something that you like plan around for like coaching. So look at your month as a whole, all right? And then break that down by week and start to think about the 2 to 3 fitness and business posts that you make for that week. So notice I said 2 to 3. I really don't recommend like more than 3 call to actions in your feed a week. Because if somebody comes to my page, like I know how it's like we want them to maybe see those call to actions 3 days in a row. But if someone comes back to your page and they see the first 3 posts are just you inviting, that's not necessarily going to give them a lot of value or keep them to keep scrolling. So don't necessarily think in terms of how people see this on your feed. Think in terms of people coming back to your page and what you're giving them collectively for those first 9 posts that they see, because that's what they're automatic. Once they click on that first post, they start scrolling. And I want to give them all kinds of flavors of who I am. I want them to see that I'm kind of crazy and silly and I have a sense of humor. I want them to know that I run a business. So I'm going to talk about that. I want them to know that I have a transformation. You should not have to scroll more than like 9 to 18. So we'll say like a double big scroll to see a transformation on your page. How the heck is somebody going to know they can get a transformation with you if you're not showing it? Right? So you have to be proud of that. And like in the slides before, there are 1,000 different ways that you can talk about what you've been through. There's 1,000 different ways. Break it down, pick one little small detail and find a story that goes with it from your past. And there's your post. And then repeat. So then you want to collect your photos. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys Planoly in a second. That's just what I use, but there's other options out there for you. So when doing this, if you need to take some pictures, okay, so you're like, all right, this week's going to be a little bit fitness focused. So before my workout today, I'm going to change my clothes 3 times. I'm going to do a picture like in my workout space. Then I'm going to do a picture holding my Energize. Then I'm going to do a picture in front of my mirror. And I'm going to be feeling it. Now, I really don't want to hear anyone say that that just doesn't feel authentic, because guys, we're past that. You run a business now. You have to think ahead like that. You have to be thinking like a CEO. You just have to think and plan that way. And can we please just all agree that everybody's doing it on Instagram, okay? Everybody's doing it. You gotta look professional. You have to plan these things out, all right? So that doesn't mean like don't be yourself. Like, you can be yourself in those pictures, but just because the picture wasn't taken in real time doesn't mean that takes away from the value of what you want to say in the post. I'd rather you put a picture out that's not in real time with a kick a double post than not put it out at all, because you're like, crap, it's 9 o'clock. I don't have a picture. What am I going to do? So when you know what your week looks like, so say you have a transformation picture, you know you're putting out. Go look at the before picture. Maybe it's not from like the program that you're doing. Maybe it's like from 5 years ago. Go find one. Maybe if you're in like jean shorts and you're holding a Corona, that would have been me. I would maybe go take a picture outside in jean shorts with my Energize or jean shorts with my Shakeology. So kind of like recreate the moment and do it in well lit places. I also have this $20 ring light. It clips on a light. I got it on Amazon. I don't even use it that much anymore because I try to just go by a window or go outside or spend $20 on a tripod. Okay. It's just like, it's worth it. It will pay you back tenfold to not be stressing out about getting pictures. Walk outside, take a picture on your front porch, in your bathroom, on a bare wall in your house. Like, guys, it's on your couch. Like, it doesn't matter. Just have the picture. That's all you need. Okay. Then you're going, so you have your pictures, you know what you're going to be talking about that week because you've looked at where your month is, and then you're going to import those into Planoly. So let me go over here and share to, wait, hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay. All right. So then, can you guys see this? Okay. All right. So this is Planoly. I'm obsessed with it. It comes in app form. It comes in desktop form. So if I don't feel like breaking my thumbs that day, I will just and boom, stuff's planned. All right. So you have a scheduled option. You can even schedule out your stories for people who are like literally can't be on their phone all day. That's so amazing. So you can pre-make your stories, have them ready to be sent out. Okay, so here's just like a little idea of what this is like. So you can come in here, you can put your pictures, you could upload your pictures. I typically upload mine from like the mobile version and then they're just in here. And you can start creating your content and you can schedule it. Now you can have it post directly from this third-party app, or it'll like notify you on your phone, like Planoly has this post scheduled, or you can just go and copy and paste and post. So like whatever you want to do. I actually don't recommend using third parties on social media because like they want you to physically go into their app and use it. So I recommend like just copy paste and post. Totally simple. But what's cool about this, so disregard like how crazy this is going to look. There's like all kinds of different stuff going on in here. Lots of old pictures too. But as soon as I have a picture that I know I might want to use, I upload it in here. And then like, it's like I have this bank of pictures to go back. Like literally all pictures, any pictures. Like there I am just laying on my couch. Like, I don't know what I'll use that for, but I'm about to have my couch paid off. So maybe I'll talk about that. Right? You just never know. There I am by my fence, just posing. Okay. So know that like you can put them in here and use them. This was before date night and I just popped a selfie and I might use that picture for like talking about confidence. There's a picture with Energize. So you can put these in here and you can go back when you feel like you have the post ready, you can go find the picture. So even if you don't want to have to take pictures weekly, you could literally do them like monthly, and then you have like a bank that you can go choose from. So this was like wildly great for me because I started to, again, just be able to make a plan. And then you can also see cohesively like what your feed looks like. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that too in a second. But I really recommend doing this. I recommend getting in that mindset of a CEO and not just treating your social media like flying off the seat of your pants, like whatever happens, happens. That doesn't mean, again, that every post has to be about fitness or every post has to be about coaching. Like I just threw a random quote in there that made me laugh today. And it's like getting more love than like the most inspiring thing I put out this week, right? Like sometimes it's going to happen, but I knew I needed to post that today because I talked about Morning Meltdown 100 last night, and I'm going to talk about it again tomorrow probably. So I broke it up with something like that, like something funny, something that made me laugh. So I figured it would make my followers laugh. All right, last thing is what to look for in August. Okay. All right, let me pull this back up. Okay. So what we have coming is the pumpkin spice launch September 4th, right? September 4th. Okay, so that's actually something that you want to start talking about like now. All right. And ways that you do that is not, oh my gosh, Shakeology's launching pumpkin spice Shakeology on September 4th. You just start. Did you guys see my Shakeology picture? And then I had another one that like had some sprinkles on it. Those are from like 5 weeks ago. Okay. But I was like, hey, my shake looks pretty today. So I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm going to put it in Planoly and I'll use it when I need it. That's the kind of like wonderfulness that Planoly has provided, that it's just there. And once you're ready to start talking about it, your pictures, it's there. So a couple ways that you can do that is, again, don't go all crazy with like Shakeology posts everywhere, all over your social media, but drop it here and there. Like start talking about the benefits of it. Start talking about why you love it. Another good thing to do is start talking about like the first 5 people who enroll with you in August are going to get a raffle and a giveaway of that. If you are like on your stories, that's a great thing to start talking about on your stories, that you've got this new flavor launching. Breadcrumb it, little bit at a time. It's going to get them interested. The new wave of Morning Meltdown enrollment. So if I'm looking at August, I'm thinking, all right, I've got the next 3 days of this week and like all of next week. I'm locking in Success Club by the end of next week for sure, right? So when it comes to my social media, I'm going to be putting a couple fitness posts out there, but other than that, I'm probably going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to ask myself, like, where am I in life right now? Don't forget to stop and ask yourself, like, what's going on with me? Because my business is not separate from me. Like I'm a package deal. So like we're going through a transition with Darren's job. So I'll probably touch on that. I'll probably talk about, I'm talking about something about Natalie and I tomorrow about Summit. And no, that's not necessarily Success Club focus, but it is when you think about it, because I'm talking about coaching. All right. So don't forget to share your story. I'm going to plan a transformation post. I have that already for next Tuesday. So I'm like thinking in terms of like the next week. And then after that, I'm just kind of going to repeat right till like mid-August. And then I'm probably going to shift into talking a little bit more about coaching. Does that help you guys? Just know that like in those first 2 weeks of the month, like your intention is Success Club. It's getting in Success Club. And that means talking about things that you can connect with your followers over so you can get those invites out. It doesn't necessarily mean putting up 20 posts with call to actions, but it means putting something out there that you can relate to people with and then start new connections with, because that's a huge thing that you want to do at the beginning of the month as well. And then the last half of the month would be a little bit more about coaching, because now you guys have all these new challengers, right? You have all these people that started MM100 with you last month and maybe at the beginning of this month. And now you're going to start talking about how you started your business as a new challenger. You're going to start talking about how coaching is the most incredible accountability that there is. You're going to start talking about how there's this whole other community waiting for you in the coaching community that really just like upped your level of community. besides just the challenge group. You're going to talk about how it helps you financially in those first 2 months, right? So think about the person reading it. All right, they're this new challenger. They're kind of unsure about coaching, but they kind of want to do it. So I would maybe say like, yeah, I was clueless when I started, but I was super stoked about helping somebody see the results that I saw. And that first couple, like $100, I mean, you don't have to necessarily say like dollar amount, but the money that I earned in the beginning was money that I was able to save and put aside to go on extra trips and move to Florida. So put yourself in their shoes and talk about like what's possible for them as they move into coaching. And then they're going to see it, and then they're going to like it. And that gives you another opportunity to be like, girl, like, why don't you just do this with us? Like, you're already crushing it in our challenge group. Like, I just really think that you would be amazing at this. I know you saw my post about coaching. Has it ever crossed your mind? It's one of my favorite things to ask people about coaching, because they're so much more likely to, fess up to that than they are like, yeah, I want to coach. Because then they're like terrified to make that verbal commitment. But if you just ask someone like, hey, has joining my challenge group or checking out these workouts or, learning more about what I do as a coach, has that ever crossed your mind? That is such a simple way to get that conversation started. All right. And finally, let's chat about stories real quick. So again, you're going to connect with people, guys, more so most likely when it doesn't have to do with your fitness. So you have to have that stuff in there for sure. Like, make sure you're sharing your fitness workout every day. Make sure you are bringing your joy to the table when you're drinking your Energize or you're about to work out. Make sure you're showing your shake and things like that. But also make sure you're showing your funny side, or you're showing your silly side, or you're showing your I'm just laying here watching The Bachelorette side. Like, show people everything about you. And I put this in here because Natalie and I noticed that we did this when we were in the car coming back from or going to West Virginia like 2 weeks ago. So we were literally like wild the whole time. And then as soon as we like switched gears into saying something about coaching, like my voice changed completely. And like my mannerism changed completely, because I was like, okay, like, all right, well, I have to talk about coaching now. And so I almost got this like new voice and like this new vibe. And I was like, why did I just do that? Like, that was like, I noticed it. And I was like, that's weird. Like that's not me, right? That's me trying to be Coach Mackenzie, when in reality, this is Coach Mackenzie. Like, I don't have to change my voice. I don't have to change what I'm doing and how I'm sitting and how I'm talking. So I recommend to you guys, like, notice that about yourselves. When you talk about the business and when you talk about your challenge groups and you talk about your fitness, it should sound the same as when you're talking about The Bachelorette, or you're talking to your boyfriend, or you're talking to your dog. Because like, that's going to show people like that A, you're comfortable and you're confident in what you're doing, but that B, like, that it isn't this some weird thing that you're trying to get people to join. Like, you're talking about it like you would the restaurant you ate at last night. Does that make sense? So notice if your body language changes. And something that I noticed a couple other people did that I started to catch on to was, have you guys ever noticed, like, I'll do this, like, I'll put my phone down when I'm about to say something like really important, like about a challenge group, and I'll be like, turn it on, and I'll make sure like everything's good. And I just sit there and I talk, and I'm like, that just looks so staged. So sometimes now what I try to do is like walk around my house. Like, even if I'm not going anywhere, I'm like, I'm going to make it look like I'm doing something. And I'm not just sitting around my house talking to these people about coaching and a challenge group. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, it's a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit more keeping my attention than me just seeing this girl sitting there talking over and over and over. And I have to catch myself on that. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just something to like think about. Like, you're bringing people into your life on stories. So don't change your life too much just because you're putting it on your stories. Ask questions, ask for opinions, use polls. I love inviting with polls, but more than that, I love asking people like, hey, what do you guys think of this outfit? What did you think of this show? Like, who do you vote for the next Bachelor? Like, what's your favorite recipe? So when you get answers like that, you can go to the response, directly message them and be like, girl, I agree. I cannot stand Jed. Like, sorry, I'm making a lot of connections to this, but it was just last night. And that's a great way for you guys to connect initially. So use your polls. Like a lot of the times, like we want to use them as that like direct invite because yeah, that's super easy, right? Like, sweet, I got 5 people that responded on my poll who want to join my challenge group. But a lot of times those people probably didn't mean to, and they might not respond. So I like to actually use polls more to connect with people over silly things or things that are going on in my life, like fashion, food, TV, whatever. And most of all, FOMO for days. So something that I started doing with MM100 was saying things like the B100 club, like drop 100 emoji. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you guys. None of my challengers that followed me dropped a 100 emoji in the box, right? It's okay, guys. Like if you're out there, it's fine. But the reason I did that was because I wanted my followers to feel like they weren't somebody that could put that 100 in the box because they weren't part of the B100 club yet because they hadn't signed up yet. So when you talk to your challengers directly sometimes like that, and you talk to your fit fam like that directly, if I'm following that, I'm gonna be like, well, I wanna be in that. Like I wanna be able to drop that 100, or I wanna be able to check off those boxes, or I wanna be in that group where they're talking about all this really cool stuff. So think about if you're on the outside looking in, what is going to make you wish that you were a part of it? That's FOMO. FOMO drives a lot of the things that I do. It's literally why I'm a full-time coach, because I had FOMO about everything I was missing out on in life. So think about if you're sitting on the outside watching somebody's story, what are they going to say that's going to make you wish that you were a part of it, whether it's coaching or whether it's a challenge group. And finally, here are a couple little things. Guys, get a preset, okay? Like it is going to change your life. They're $5 on Etsy. I am not smart when it comes to technology. It showed me exactly how to download it, exactly how to use it. I just recommend this because, again, you have to think like a CEO. You want your feed to look good. Like bottom line, you gotta buy into that at this point. Like it has to look good, it has to look cohesive, and it should have a little bit of your personality. Like I have this like pink vibe going now, and I switched to some other vibe for like 9 posts, and it just felt wrong. And I came back to like my pinky, I don't even know like what I would call that, but that to me is also another creative expression of who I am. Like that is another creative way to show people like who you are, what you love, and what you're about. Get your photos lit up. It could be the most amazing post. And if your picture is dark and they can't see your face and they can't feel the feeling that you're trying to give us, then it's not going to be received as well. Share with the intention to connect. You guys know that. Connect over the result from the post always. So even if you put a post out with a call to action, still have the intention to connect, because more so you're going to connect than you are going to get that, hey, I want to join you post, that message. Planoly, Snapseed, and Lightroom are my favorites. I actually, and of course, Unfold, that's for stories. Let me be honest with you guys, like, I don't use those as much as I used to. I kind of just, and I don't use like the video apps as much as I used to either. I kind of just decided like, hey, I want to simplify this a little bit, because if someone's following me, they might be watching these like perfectly polished stories and thinking like, I could never do that. Plus, if it's taking you more time than it really needs to take, then you're just putting your time in the wrong things. So if you have the extra time, the really good thing about Unfold is you can make stories ahead of time, save them, and reuse them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend time tomorrow, like 30 minutes, making new Unfold things for coaching and MM100, and then it's done. I don't have to worry about that. But I just use time lapse on my phone for my workouts every day, or I'll put them up in real time with music. And finally, guys, just give people a page that they want to visit and they want to follow. Like, make them feel like they're a part of your community, whether they're joining you or not. Okay, that's important. Whether they join you or not, they need to feel like they're welcome there, and they need to feel connected to you on your page. I think that's it. That's all I got. Okay, does anybody want to ask any questions? Oh my God, the chat. What? I didn't even see this. Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
Mac, that was so good. Like,
Thanks.
I think the main thing though, like, guys, whatever you do or you take from tonight, first off, I want to shout out Jessica too, because she's a brand new coach as of last night, and I didn't see her because there were so many faces on here until the end.
Yay.
Um, but the thing I love that you said the most was commit to being consistent instead of seeing the result. And nothing matters that Max says unless you choose to be consistent with just one thing.
Yeah, that's so true.
So
You
like,
can't be on social media just looking for a result from it. You have to be on there because you're happy to be on there. You're happy to be sharing. You're happy to be connecting. I'm telling you, you never know who you're going to attract. And I just want to reiterate this, like, it does not matter how many followers you have. It does not matter how many likes you have on a photo. One of my new coaches who I can't imagine being in life with without now, she was messaged like before I messaged her by a top 10 coach, and she ended up not responding. And then she actually ghosted me the first time I reached out. But then I reached out again because I was like, I really love this girl and I really want her to coach with me. So I asked her to the business again. And she told me later on, she was like, yeah, I just didn't connect with her like I connected with you. And we hadn't had a conversation yet, guys. She ghosted me the first time, and then I invited her a second time. She was connecting with what I was sharing on my social media. She wasn't connecting with a top 10 coach who had thousands of more followers than me. She's a top 10 coach in the company. So, of course, she has way more credibility than me because she's in the top 10. But here's the thing, like, that stuff, those are lies that we create in our heads. And if you spend time worrying about the followers that you have, you're going to miss the loyal people that are right in front of you that really want to work with you. Anybody else? Ooh. Gosh, oh gosh, it's 8:57.
So I feel like,
Who's talking?
sorry, one last thing. So I feel like I love how you talked about the connection piece, because you have to connect, but you also have to be doing the behind the scenes work.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why that worked for you with that coach. You had the connection, you had the posts, you were being you, she was connecting, but you still sent the invite and you still sent the follow-up. And so I think that, like, go together, and you can't have one without the other. You can't be sending mad invites and then they come to your page and they see nothing there. You also can't be making these beautiful, amazing posts and you're connecting and everything, but you're not talking to them one-on-one. Like, you have to marry the two. And that's like the secret sauce. So I just wanted to say that because, like, I love all your stuff about connecting. And I know that you're obviously doing the behind the scenes invites. So just for like newer people listening, like, just making sure like you have both of those things.
Absolutely. Like, that's the whole point that I really wanted you guys to take away kind of from this call. Is like, social media is not just the one part, but it's part of that whole system of the vital behaviors for a reason. And you are going to see things happen in your business, honestly, without even focusing on them happening. That makes sense. If you focus on putting great things out there, connecting with people, inviting people, and following up with people every single day, you are going to blow this thing out of the water. But the reason so many people unfortunately do not is because they stop doing those small little actions when they don't see an immediate result. Because like I said, you're not going to put a post out tomorrow and have 3 people join you right away. You might, that can happen. Trust me, there will be weeks where you're like, dang, and then there's going to be like weeks where you're like, where is everyone? Like, what's happening? I'm telling you that 4 years into the business, there's hills and valleys. So you have to just learn to stay consistent through those hills and valleys. And that's where you're going to see the return and the reward. And you're going to have a lot more fun doing it that way. So yes, the inbox is just, it all works together. And that's what we want you to see. It all works together. You got to have every single piece. Yay. Okay. So it's 8:59. We'll end here. We love you guys. You have 3 hours left in this month to just, give it all you got. And if you wake up tomorrow and it didn't happen, who cares? Because you showed up with a lot of intention to do a lot of good, and that's going to just carry over into an amazing August. So we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
For the end of the month, if you're pushing, connect with someone in your team and push together. Don't do it by yourself. because then you'll be out of your head and you'll make it happen.
Yes. Totally.
All right. Thanks, Mac. Proud of you guys for being here.
Bye, guys.